This is the brand new iQOO 90 that's launching in India very soon, and we already know the pricing: 49,999 for the 8 128GB variant, 54,999 for the 12 256GB variant, and there's also a 4,000 rupee discount if you have an ICICI card, making the price even better. Anyway, the iQOO 90 looks like a really good value for money smartphone, but is it as good as it seems? Are there any compromises? Let's find out. Starting off, the biggest USP of the iQOO 90 is obviously the fact that it brings the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset at this price. There's also the latest specs in LPDDR5 RAM and UFS 3.1 storage. There's also the Vivo V1 Plus chipset, which brings gaming and camera improvements. Now, 8 Plus Gen 1 is the big deal, and I know there have been phones with 8 Gen 1 at 50K like the Moto Edge 30 Pro and the Realme GT2 Pro, but we've seen the difference 8 Plus Gen 1 makes. It is supposed to fix the 8 Gen 1's issues like thermal throttling, battery drain. Now, we've seen the 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset do really well in the ROG Phone 6 Pro, but that was a proper gaming phone. The question is, how well does it do here? First of all, the iQOO 90 does score higher in benchmarks when compared to 8 Gen 1 on the Edge 30 Pro. In fact, there's quite a big difference, which is actually great. However, what I really wanted to see was the throttling performance. So we did all the 3 tests that we usually do, and in the first one, you can see that there's no throttling, and the temperature is also under control at around 38-39 degrees, which is just very normal. Now, here are the scores of the second test, and the 90 does well again. And here's the score with the third test, which is an intensive 100 threads 1 hour test. And again, the iQOO 90 does really well. I mean, this is really good, especially because I was checking the temperatures all along, and the iQOO 90 never really exceeded 42-43 degrees. I mean, I had my doubts on the 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset because, like I said, I've used it on a proper gaming phone before. But you know what? The 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset is actually good. See, the real world performance is awesome too. This is a very smooth phone to use, but that's hardly a surprise. I mean, with the specs it packs, general and multitasking usage works without any lag whatsoever. Game performance is really good too. I played all the games on the max graphics settings, and there's almost no lag in any of the games I played, be it BGMI, Asphalt, Apex Legends. All of these games look great on this phone, and the gameplay is really smooth. Now, I did notice some heat build up around the camera module after like 45 minutes, 1 hour of gaming, but I'd call it warm, not hot. Also, the phone does cool quickly, probably thanks to its vapor chamber cooling system. And one thing to note, the V1 Plus chip can push games to 90 FPS using MEMC, aka frame interpolation, and it can be turned on like this. Overall, the performance here is flagship grade, and that's really good for the price, but the iQOO 90 is good value all around. So the design is premium. The iQOO 90 comes in both the Alpha and the Legend variant, which has the BMW theme on the back. Now, we have the Alpha variant, and I actually love this. It has an AG glass matte black design on the back that looks really good. The frame is aluminium, and the new here when compared to the iQOO 9 is this top glass panel, which is covered in Scotch Sensation glass and features the cameras, the V1 Plus logo, the 20x zoom text, and I like the subtle carbon fiber texture in it. There's also this fascination meets imagination tagline at the end of this glass panel, which has me fascinated. Anyway, the iQOO 90 has an in-display fingerprint scanner, which is fast. The phone has the IP52 rating for splash resistance, and there's stereo speakers with the secondary speaker in the earpiece right here. And apart from that, there's no headphone jack, no micro SD slot, and there's no wireless charging. The front has a 6.7-inch E5 AMOLED screen with the 120Hz refresh rate, 1500 nits of peak brightness, 100% DCI-P3 coverage, and I like the narrow unified bezels all around. Specs apart, this is a high-quality AMOLED display. The colors look great and vibrant like you'd expect from a good AMOLED. The brightness is high, viewing angles are good, and I like that the phone supports HDR10 in apps like Netflix and YouTube. And when I did play an HDR video, I noticed a bump in the display's brightness and a little bit of boost to vibrancy. The point is, this display looks good when watching movies and even when just doing day-to-day tasks. Now, there's no LTPO tech here, but with the phone set to 120Hz, the screen is smooth and the UI is optimized for it. The phone has FunTouchOS 12.1 on top of Android 12, and I love that iQOO has promised 3 major Android updates for this and 4 years of security patches, and that is really good support if you ask me. Anyway, FunTouchOS is feature-rich, you know it, and as for pre-installed apps, there are these apps pre-installed, but I like that iQOO has removed apps like Josh, MX Takar, Moj, and ShareChat. Moving on to the cameras, which is another area where the iQOO 90 seems good value, and that's because it has a 50-megapixel Samsung GNV sensor with OIS, a 13-megapixel ultra-wide camera, and a 12-megapixel telephoto lens capable of 2x optical zoom and 20x digital zoom. There's also the V1 Plus chip that enhances photos and videos at night. Anyway, so the specs are good and the photos look good so far. The main camera takes some really rich photos which have nice colors, good details, and balanced exposure. Sometimes the photos look a bit boosted in terms of color, but other than that, it seems pretty good, even in low-light situations. The ultra-wide sensor has a more natural tone in its photos, and unlike most ultra-wide angle sensors, this keeps a good amount of detail, so yeah, that's nice. The telephoto lens means you can take zoom shots, and 20x shots are decent, but this also works as a portrait camera, so portrait photos are actually good. In terms of videos, it can shoot 4K 60 FPS videos from the back, while the front is still limited to 1080p 30 FPS. A little strange from a phone that packs flagship specs. Now, another strange thing is that the ultra-wide-angle camera is also limited to 1080p 30 FPS, so if you switch to 4K, the 0.6 option just goes away. I also found no way to quickly switch between different cameras while shooting a video. The front camera is a 16-megapixel Samsung sensor, which I found to be pretty good. It handles skin tones much better than most front cameras. There's also good level of detail in the selfies. Cameras apart, the iQOO 90 has a 4700 mAh battery and comes with a super fast 120 watt flash charger. Now this is the 120 watt charger and it takes the phone from 1 to 100% in just 20 minutes. I know we've already seen fast chargers like this, but it is still impressive. In terms of connectivity, the phone has 9 5G bands, Wi-Fi 6 support, Bluetooth 5.2, and there's also carrier aggregation support. Now, I've already told you the pricing of the iQOO 90, and along with the ICICI Bank offer, there's also exchange bonuses on both iQOO and non-iQOO devices, and there's also no-cost EMI up to 12 months. To conclude things, one thing is for sure, at 50,000 rupees, the iQOO 90 brings a lot of great features. I mean, iQOO is known for bringing great performance in its phones, and the iQOO 90 is no different. See, the 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset is great and it fixes the issues we've had with 8 Gen 1 phones. Plus the design looks premium, the display is not LTPO, but other than that, it's a high quality panel. The cameras seem solid, although there are a few quirks I mentioned. There's super fast charging and there's good promise of updates. Now, I'm yet to use the iQOO 90 as my daily driver, so there are a few things left to test, and there's also the OnePlus 10T coming with similar specs. But yeah, right now, the 90 seems like a premium value for money phone at 50K. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Also, hit like if you enjoyed our video, subscribe to our channel for more amazing tech videos. Do not forget that bell icon, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Deleted WhatsApp messages को अब आप easily read कर सकते हो. Just follow these steps. अपने Android phone की settings में जाके notifications